Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Awaken the World's A Day at the Monastery. It is 2 p.m., Saturday, November 17th, and we have our afternoon discussion on our second exercise and another meditation to be doing. So, hello, Jennifer. Hello, Debbie. Nice to see both of you. Debbie, I know it's getting late. So, don't feel bad if you're not there later on. I know it's like 10 o'clock your time. You're going to have to sleep sooner or later. And it's very nice to see you too, Jennifer. So, thank you for participating in our little mindfulness discussion around eating. This is all part about the way we judge things and the understanding that we are indeed so looked after in so many ways that we are not even cognizantly aware of. And good, Debbie, don't judge yourself. If you go to sleep, that's totally understandable. It really is, I mean, so, the point of the second exercise, of course, was to go ahead and look at those highlights in your life that you've judged and see how, when you look at them carefully, that indeed your judgments aren't really accurate. And this is what we find out when we look back. When we have the advantage of hindsight, when we're not buried up to our neck in the situation, when we are able to look back, we see how every aspect of our life has indeed served us. How, sometimes like a loving parent, who has to, the child feels punished, but in fact, it's not a punishment. The punishment is perception. The punishment is judgment. And we may even consider it punishment. And in our lives, there's been times where I've considered life to be punishing me. And it's not really punishment. What it is instead is the loving hand of guidance that we all receive. Our own inner guru, our own divine higher self that has manifested and created this specific personality that you call you, whether that is Debbie or Jennifer or Garhen or Kelly. It doesn't really matter. Your higher self, that which you truly are, has created this personality, has created this one-of-a-kind viewpoint, set this up to give that personality the opportunity to have the experience, and through it, your higher self evolves as well, grows. This is the joyous reality of our existence, and we can lose sight of that. It's very easy to lose sight of that when we're buried knee-deep or buried up to our neck in a problem. And really what it comes down to is the understanding that all of our judgments stem from a misconception of who and what we really are. And that is what we are working on today at this day at the monastery. So it is fitting that we engage in a meditation that it works towards that, works towards releasing judgment. And this judgment and condemnation we're talking about first and foremost primarily with ourselves, because it is only when we can stop condemning and judging ourselves that we will stop condemning and judging others as well. And I admit that this can be particularly hard in the face of some of our political leaders, for example. We all know who we're talking about, 5 letters that starts with a T. And we have our own one up here. The up here it's 7 letters with a T. It's Trudeau. And in the case of Canada, in light of the Khashoggi journalist, the Saudi Arabian journalist killing, we're still going ahead with a multi-million or $1 billion deal on armored vehicles. that are coming out of Canada and going to Saudi Arabia. And we look at these sort of things, and we look at soldiers standing in front of migrants who need help. And we understand that the judgments that we have allowed ourselves to accept, the judgments we place on others, the condemnation of others, separates us. It separates us from ourselves. First and foremost, when we see another as somehow less or different than or not worthy in comparison with us, we lose ourselves in the process. For that which we have issue with in the other, we have the propensity for too. This is the fact of ego. We all share in a collective and individualized egoic sense of self, both at a human being level and at a human society and humanity level as well. Moving past that, learning to grow beyond that, is really the first step. The first step in freeing yourself. No matter where you have been in your life, no matter what you have done, and I got to tell you, if I were to judge myself, I would judge myself among some of the worst for some of the things I have done earlier in my existence. That doesn't matter though. Those things, no matter what it is you feel you have done or you are guilty of, every single thing that you have done to the best of your ability in the situation you were in, with the level of awareness you had and the vision that you had at the time. We all know those times when our vision gets very narrow and the world is filled with blackness and we only see a little tiny sliver of light, and we naturally want to go into that sliver of light. Our misconceptions, our judgments hide the light that is around us all the time. Now, you'll have to forgive me, I have a very itchy nose for some reason. Maybe it's money coming. Or I inhaled a bug and wasn't aware of it. That's possible too. So for this afternoon's meditation, we are going to use Om Karuna Hum. Why? Compassion. I am compassion is the true meaning of this mantra. Compassion is the understanding that we are all here having experience, having a human experience. Each and every one of us a player on the stage. Each of us playing a role, defining a role, taking on new roles, redefining roles. You know, Kelly and I watched Kung Fu Panda 3, and it's not the first time we've ever watched that cartoon, Kung Fu Panda. This was part 3, the one where he finds out there are still other pandas. He meets his father, and he has to learn to become a master of Qi in order to save himself and everybody. And one of the beautiful things about that movie is that Po, the panda, he doesn't know who he is. He thought he was this, and then he thought he was that. And now he has to become something again. And there is a line in there that catches him. And that line comes to him in the heat of his battle with the villainous chi-stealing demon that has come back to Earth and is going to take his chi and take the chi of all the people, all the pandas there at the village. And that is that he does not have to make anybody like him. He doesn't have to be anything else but him. And what you are at every given moment is the choice. What you choose to be in every given situation is the role. And yes, we are kids at heart, honey. Definitely kids at heart. But it's true. The messages in the kids shows are far better than the messages. I won't say far better. far easier to see, easier to stomach. You know, a lot of times the messages that come to us in the more violent action type movies are filled with violence and other things that we don't really want to look at. The messages in children's shows are delivered much more gently and are often much more clear to see. So Om Karunaham, the idea that we are indeed compassion itself, that we have more in common with everyone around us than differences. I therefore choose compassion over judgment, compassion over condemnation. Judgment creates chasms, as does condemnation. Compassion creates bridges. Allow yourself today to start by building a bridge to yourself, a bridge of compassion, a bridge of loving acceptance for no matter what you have done, no matter what you have experienced in your life, that we are all here having a human experience. We are all here together, more the same, all one. So very few differences. And allow that compassion to sink into your heart for yourself, to hold yourself dear, to realize the gift of your existence here. With that, let us turn to our meditation. We'll come back to the candle so no one has to watch my ugly mug. And this afternoon we will incorporate some of that divine rolling waves of love and light. The sounds of the ocean surf, reminding us of the gentle in-breath and out-breath of all of creation. Literally, we are being breathed. We come together again to that sacred space to meet at that gateless gate. We choose today to allow compassion to supplant judgment and condemnation. We choose compassion first and foremost for ourselves. For if we cannot have compassion with ourselves, we will have compassion with no one else. Allow yourself to be in a comfortable, upright position, your back well supported, your head and neck in alignment with your shoulders. And we will begin. I free myself from my own judgment and condemnation. I choose compassion. I choose compassion for myself. I choose to be free. Om Karuna. Om Karuna. Om Karuna. Om Karuna. I choose compassion. I choose to free myself from my own judgment, from the condemnation of others, from the condemnation of myself. I am free. Om I allow myself to see more clearly now. I allow myself, through the eyes of infinite compassion, to readdress my existence. Free from judgment and condemnation. Free. I let go of judgment. I let go of self-condemnation. I will reevaluate my existence. I will see with new eyes. The eyes of compassion. The eyes of your higher self. I am free. Slowly, gently allow those divine waves of compassionate, loving light to fade back into your heart. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes. Om Karuna Ham. I am compassion. There are two parts to this afternoon's exercise. Excuse me. Firstly, hello Janet Lynn, and hello Carol. Nice to see you. I'm glad you two managed to make it today. I'm glad all of you managed to make it today. This afternoon, I would like you to take the first two exercises, all those things you've judged harshly about yourself, and reevaluate your experiences from the point of view of infinite compassion. Allow yourself to understand that we as human beings in our egoic thought patterns and egoic mindsets would believe that we are an advanced species, that we are an advanced culture, and that we are somehow advanced in comparison to many of the other life forms here on Earth. In truth, in the eyes of creation, we are but babies. Allow yourself the compassion that a parent would have for an unknowing, unaware child. Allow that to be the level of compassion. create the bridge between what you perceive as your experiences and the reality of your existence. We are interwoven in this incredible, moving, undulating, evolving, growing, magnificent, crystalline web of life. Those are the only words that even come close to the magnificence of what happens in this universal, in this physical universe, in this physical realm. We are all here having a human experience, and in that human experience, there is no one experience that is not made perfect. There is no event, no circumstance that is not made perfect in God's creation. It is up to us to start to look for that perfection, to start to see with compassion, to remove the judgment and condemnation we would place upon ourselves, and love ourselves more deeply. That which we would call our Creator, that sea of consciousness, God, whatever you wish to use, we bring ourselves closer. We bring ourselves into harmonious alignment with that sea of compassion and consciousness. When we engage in showing ourselves compassion, on being easy on ourselves. Note that this leaves room for responsibility, but no room for guilt. I would ask that you take, as I said, the first two lessons and go through the exercises and go through all of those events in your life that you've judged negatively. And as Kelly pointed out to me, that doesn't necessarily mean you wish to relive one of those events again. And here's the beautiful thing. If you manage to get the lesson in the event, and we all do, because we all progress, we all evolve, you're not going to have to complete that lesson again. But our own experiences offer us the basis to generate compassion, not only for ourselves, but compassion for others. Compassion for those where no compassion exists within our society. You can be that shining light, not only unto yourself, but unto others as well. We have a little longer break between now and 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. we will return and discuss the remaining exercise. And in the meantime, this afternoon's exercise, I would like you to find a task, any task, from washing dishes to darning a sock, whatever it is you want to do, and do that task in full mindfulness. Allow yourself to become fully present. You know, I often use the washing dishes because most of us grew up washing dishes. I mean, honestly, we own a dishwasher and we use the thing maybe once every 6 weeks or so just to help keep it clean. But we wash our dishes by hand. And there are some questions that you can contemplate as you are washing dishes or darning a sock or working on a drawing, coloring a mandala. It doesn't really matter. A few of these questions include, who is doing the work? Who is it that's performing the task? Is that which is aware of the work being done that which is doing the work? Wash dishes, chop firewood, pick up a sack of rice, whatever you need to do so with awareness this afternoon. We will meet again at 5 o'clock. We will have more meditation, more discussion, and then we will be back again at 7 p.m. for the final discussion and final meditation. And it is my fondest wish that this day at the monastery, this day focusing on yourself, focusing outside of the illusion, is beneficial to you. Much love to you all for now. Namaste. We'll see you very shortly at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Debbie, I know you're way over there across the pond, and 5 p.m. will be like 1 a.m. in the morning for you. So honestly, I hope you're sound asleep. But if you're not, you're of course more than welcome. Much love to you all. We'll see you at 5 o'clock tonight. Bye for now.